You ever just look up at the sky and wonder, how far away are those clouds, really? It feels like it should be a simple question, right? But the answer actually takes us on this incredible journey, straight up through our atmosphere. So let's dive in. So that's the big question. But when we look up, our eyes can be a little deceiving. We get this really powerful illusion.
I mean, they look so soft, don't they? So close, you can almost imagine just reaching out your hand and grabbing a piece like it's a big puff of cotton candy. It's a nice thought, but the reality of what a cloud is and where it is something else entirely.
The truth is, some clouds are pretty close to us, yeah, but others are way up there, at altitudes where commercial jets fly. They aren't just one thing in one place. They're actually organized into these really distinct layers in our sky. So to really get a handle on this, we're going to take a little virtual trip. We're going to start on the ground and just ascend all the way up to the high frontier of our atmosphere. Our ascent is going to have 3 main stops. We'll start with the everyday clouds down in the lowest layer, then we'll climb up through the middle sky, and we'll finish at the really icy high frontier. Okay, let's begin our climb. First up, the lowest layer. This is home to the clouds we see most often. The ones that basically define our daily weather.
So how low are we talking? Well, these low-level clouds can form anywhere from about half a kilometer up to 2 kilometers above our heads. So what does that distance actually feel like?
To put that in perspective, a kilometer is a distance you could easily walk. These clouds are so close that if you've ever been hiking in the mountains and walked into a thick mist, guess what? You've literally been inside a cloud. That's all fog is, really, a cloud that's touching the ground. Now, how do they even form so close to us? Well, it all boils down to this one key process: condensation. The lower atmosphere is just full of moisture from oceans, lakes, plants, you name it. As this warm, moist air rises just a little bit, it starts to cool down, and that invisible water vapor turns into the teeny tiny liquid droplets that make up the clouds we see. And in this layer, you'll definitely recognize 2 familiar types. Over here you've got stratus clouds. Those are the flat, gray sheets that give us a gloomy, overcast day. And then you have cumulus clouds, the absolute classic, puffy, cotton-like clouds that just drift across a sunny sky. All right, let's keep going up. We are now entering the middle sky, and this is a world that's much colder and where the air is a whole lot thinner than down below. The mid-level clouds, they exist in this band between 2 and 6 kilometers up, so we've just made a pretty significant jump in altitude. And this is where the scale really starts to hit you. At this altitude, you're way, way higher than any building on Earth. This is the zone where airplanes often start to level out after takeoff, cruising just above that lowest layer of weather. To clouds up here, they look different too. Altostratus clouds are these grayish sheets that make the sun look kinda hazy, like you're looking at it through frosted glass. And altocumulus clouds, they often show up as these patchy ripples, almost like scales across the sky, and they can sometimes signal that the weather's about to change. All right, time for our final jump, the high frontier. We are climbing all the way up to between 6 and 13 kilometers. This is the very top of the troposphere, which is the highest boundary for all the weather we experience here on Earth. Up here, it is so cold that clouds aren't made of water droplets anymore. They're actually formed from tiny little ice crystals, and that's what gives these cirrus clouds their thin, wispy look, almost like brushstrokes in the sky. They fly at the same altitude as a long-haul jet, and they are often the very first sign that a big weather system is on its way. So we have these 3 distinct layers, each with its own kind of rules. But what happens when a cloud has enough energy to just break through all of them? Well, that's when you get a true giant of the atmosphere. Say hello to the cumulonimbus, also known as the thunderstorm cloud. Just look at that range. Its base can be way down in the low level, just a kilometer up, while its top can soar to 15 kilometers, punching through every single layer we just discussed. These things are absolute powerhouses. They're formed when warm, moist air rises incredibly fast, and this powerful vertical updraft creates some of the most intense weather on Earth: lightning, thunder, torrential rain. As that column of air hits the top of the troposphere, it spreads out into that classic anvil shape, which, just like the cirrus clouds we saw, is made completely of ice crystals. So, we've just journeyed through the entire vertical world of clouds. But this isn't just a sightseeing trip. Understanding where clouds are helps us understand why they are so absolutely essential to us here on the ground.
It's a fair question, right? They're beautiful, sure, they're scientifically fascinating, but what's their fundamental role for our planet? Why do they matter so much?
Well, first and foremost, clouds are the engine of our planet's water system. They are the critical link that delivers all of our fresh water, rain, snow, and hail, from the atmosphere back down to the land. Without them, the water cycle would literally break, our rivers would run dry, and life as we know it, well, it just couldn't exist.
But they do even more than just deliver water. They actually act as Earth's thermostat. During the day, the bright white tops of those cumulus clouds reflect sunlight back into space, which helps keep the planet cool. But at night, a thick layer of stratus clouds can act like a blanket, trapping heat radiating from the ground. This balancing act is absolutely critical for keeping our climate stable.
So, from the fog on a mountain to the icy wisps at the very edge of our weather, we've seen that clouds are so much more than just pretty decoration. They are a dynamic, essential part of our planet's life support system. Which leaves us with a pretty big thought. If clouds are this vital, what does it mean to protect the delicate atmospheric balance that allows them to form in the first place? That's something to ponder the next time you find yourself just looking up.